hesitate as well. Baron is one of the slowest heroes in the game too, so Druid, a playmaker, really taking this guy and launching him.
And it's not easy to farm quickly and effectively with a Baron. Honestly, like his attacks splash. So you have to account for that. They're also very slow, have a very long windup. You have to know the hero in and out. Druid has clearly been practicing this a lot.
Yeah, and I like the statement piece coming from Druid saying, this is my go-to hero. This is who I'm going to play. This is what I'm going to conquer this tournament with if you guys don't ban it. But to be honest, I kind of want someone to ban it. I want to see what else ROX has up their sleeve.
I'd like to see Druid play more than just one hero for the entire tournament. That'd be cool.
Oh, man. We have to name it the Baron Mobile Masters if he never plays anything else, maybe. But really impressive work coming out of ROX. But, you know, I love this team. So passionate, just so well-practiced, and they're really showing off today.
They are indeed. Now, on the side of NRG, let's speculate a little bit, right? Because I think, obviously, we don't have necessarily all the facts in front of us. We don't have all the previous footage, for example. But we do know that they like to run, Lightning T, for example. I know that he likes to run aggressive things.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely on the cards. So maybe Akashka's on
And he's a very mechanical player, too. Like, he's also one of the best Skies in North America, which is not a hero that we've seen too much, but something they could definitely consider. But he's also a great Taco player, so if they pick Baron, if the thing is I don't think ROX has done no studying on these guys.
Yeah.
But if they've done any studying, they've seen Lightning T. They know he's great on Taka. He's good on like he knows how to play these in and out heroes that are high damage, high burst, high impact, and that's what they're gonna have to focus on.
I think everyone knows about the one shot, one kill as well.
One shot, one
kill.
So
let's head into the draft and see what we're going to have from these teams. ROX Armada taking Grumpjaw off the table. We got some deja vu here, Fuji.
Yes! We got the Baron ban. It comes through.
So happy.
NRG saying, oh, well, there's Fox. So that didn't take very long. So we know now what second priority is for ROX Armada. The Idris first pick coming through. And Lance banned these teams, not wasting too much time at all, trying to get through the early part of this draft phase. Really saying, here are our statement picks. Here's what we're going to build our compositions around. No captains, no safe picks coming through. So, well, we don't know yet if this is going to be a carry or jungle Idris or crystal power or weapon. So a lot of unanswered things going in the draft for NRG. But the Adagio ban once again coming through for ROX and the Arden pickup.
In terms of your damage threats, Idris is definitely one of the most flexible options out there. I mean, obviously the most flexible pick right now is Glaive because he can do any role. And in those roles he has diverse build paths. But Idris can, in the sort of damage roles, do a lot of different things. Glaive and Koshka locked in with Vox. This is like a North American team's dream composition from 2.5. So NRG should at least know
they only learned
about
the dream by reading the book that wrote the dream from ROX. I mean, this is their type of composition they want to play. Ingenious, we saw his Glaive play earlier in game one. Insane mechanical skill on those afterburns. We saw Koshka on Mango over and over again, and then drew his Vox. I mean, it doesn't get more comfort than this for ROX. Has to be scary, but I like that NRG gave him some of these picks. They're feeling good.
And Idris. This is interesting as well, right? Because both of these heroes are heroes that can stick quite well to the backline, especially if we were to see, for example, like the Crystal Power Idris, you can kind of jump in someone and actually do a lot of damage as a result, and they can't run from you. Like,
they can't run from you. But if there was going to be a hero that could kite, that could run, Drew is on Vox. Like, there was a rule of thumb that used to exist for at least a year and a half in Vainglory where you would never pick triple melee into Vox because he can kite and kite and kite for days, and he's one of the only carries that can execute this. So if anyone's going to be able to pull off this type of potential, Drew is the guy.
I've got to agree with that. And Ingenious has been setting him up for success in a lot of these games as well. He tends to stick with Druid. It's only once, I think, that I've seen him really focus on helping Mango secure a kill in a team fight. So I like the fact that this is something that suits Druid as well. We're getting to see him play something new. Maybe he's not warmed up quite as much.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's definitely.
Or maybe he's been playing Baron up here and in practice mode on Vox down here at the same time, right? Like, this guy, he does so much. He's so crazy when he gets on stage. He acts like he never skips a beat.
He really does. I believe we are getting ready to head into game, guys. It's going to be a very exciting one between NRG and ROX Armada. ROX, if they win this game, will only be one win away from taking every North American team out of this gauntlet. That'd be pretty impressive stuff.
That will be impressive stuff. But we do have Juan Hernandez on the Idris lane, Lightning T on CP, Blackfeather in the jungle. Armada going for their first aggressive level 1 invade so far in the tournament, looking to pick up couple of camps here. We'll see if Bradley goes for the steal, but with Vanguard on cooldown, I don't think so. He played the safer way out of this by using that to just get out of harm's way. Afterburn, pretty dangerous this early in the game.
See ROX going directly for the Tran as well. This one on Bradley might try and steal. Okay, no, he's still not going to. That, I mean, I might have taken that risk, just because Tran's worth quite a bit.
Well, actually, he probably could have gotten it too, simply just because ROX slow played the Treant over to Mango on purpose. They let Mango get the last hit with a non-empowered auto. So a Vanguard and out to the south part of the map would have gotten him the objective. But once again, the risk not being taken. But we'll have to see, how does this Idris play in lane against the potential pressure from Koshka ganks, from Vox Resonance bounces. They don't have sustain from NRG. There's no Lyra, there's no Adagio, which is typically common paired with an Idris. So he's going to have to be very careful about just minimizing any extra damage he takes.
Talk to me about the Idris a little bit. We don't yet know for sure which build he's going, because a lot of the times these closer range carries will go for a book in order to sustain, and then they'll go crystal later. He could still do that if he wanted to. We do see the crystal bit on Lightning T, but what do you think the advantage is for Juan if he decides to go weapon?
I mean, I think for weapon, it's all about the ability for him to use his A to be able to like zip in and out of a lot of the potential threats coming from ROX Armada. Like if you're gonna dive, a weapon is certainly better. CP Idris is more about range, poke, kind of going in, doing a bunch of damage and getting out. Like your ultimate has larger range as well with CP, so when you build Crystal Power, you get a little bit more of that outside of the team fight mobility, but I don't think that's what they want.
Oh, that's a nice knockback on a Bradley. Vanguard
Dragon
does
Blood
a lot, but so much out of the Dragon Blood. Man, Ingenious making that item pay dividends.
Dragon Blood is, so the thing about Glaive picking up a Dragon Blood contract is simply is that when you afterburn in, you're almost guaranteed to be able to apply that to the enemy, and when you proc Dragon Blood, it not only slows the enemy, but it does a burst of crystal damage as well, and that's what you guys just saw. Poor Bradley, even with the Vanguard, not able to survive that initial kill. This is actually, I think, the earliest first blood we've had the entire tournament, so once again, ROX picking up pace, perhaps just getting stronger and stronger as the gauntlet goes on.
Makes perfect sense given their composition. I feel like this is the one ROX is really going to push the tempo on. They don't even have to wait for Baron to fight. Another knockback on to Bradley. He's in a bad spot. Bradley goes down again. Bradley, I think you need vision, and you need to stay on maybe the top side.
So this is the thing, and you know, we actually talked about this earlier in the tournament, but you don't have to focus the carry, right? When you go to gank lane, oftentimes your captain is going to be a lower level because of the fact that most of the last hits are always going to that laner. But in this aspect, Bradley's even lower level because he keeps dying. So he's not sharing a lot of the experience. So a level 2, that's not good. I like the fact, though, Lightning T looking for some different opportunities here going into the backs.
Oh, no. He got caught out, though. This is bad news. I mean, he did find a few camps. Did he find enough to make dying worth it? Because dying is admittedly not worth that much, especially when it's not first blood early in the game.
I definitely think it's not worth it to the extent if you continue to lose pressure elsewhere on the map in order to do it. I actually was not expecting Lightning T to try to port home there. He had a boot active. If he would have actually used that active and headed towards the lane side of the map, I think he would have gotten out just fine. Not really many ways right now for ROX to catch up to him, but chose the riskier option, tried to go home in their back brush, and they caught him out.
All right, ROX Armada. They got Bradley nearby again, but this time no Mango to capitalize on it. Mango actually moving down, fighting Juan Hernandez a little bit. You can see Lightning T, trading back.
Oh, he dodges the P with the pounce.
That would have been real bad if Lightning T had landed that on point for Mango. I think probably a kill.
Yeah, I think he would have actually gotten the kill because he would have kept his heartthrob stacks up. Would have been able to go in, get the execute potential damage on there, but once again, avoided, of course, from the mechanical outplay.
Juan Hernandez is starting to pick up damage as well as Lightning T comes in looking for Druid. He does find some poke. Oh, he gets the kill! Druid goes down early! Lightning T doesn't have another on point, though. Cannot turn around, find Ingenious. You trade your jungler for their laner, and that laner is Druid? Okay.
Not bad. I would do that trade. Perhaps a little bit of miscommunication there. I think Druid thought Ingenious might have had his fountain because he kind of stuck around a little bit. He didn't actually run as fast as he could have away from that danger zone. Lightning T going in, but now Ingenious does have the fountain pickup. They do have it over Bradley. Bradley's still about 150 gold away from completing it himself. So this is an opportunity for ROX to really look for something.
Oh, Ingenious, he's looking for something indeed. Trying to go into Juan Hernandez, and he is going to be going down. No ultimate available to just jump inside of someone and maybe hop out afterwards. Lightning T does pick up the Treant, so he's not losing out on camps as well. Now just needs to defend the turret.
Yeah, I think the discipline of these teams is something to take note of, too. We actually saw in the last engagement when Ingenious is actually holding his afterburn quite long to make sure he punts the right target. He's not just afterburning and just punting the closest one. He's looking for the right type of indication of, okay, you're about to use an ability. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to threaten the punts. You never know when I'm quite going to use it. And I like that level of discipline from him. It's a lot of clarity in the moment to be able to focus in on exactly what you want to do.
All right, we got Shattered Glass and Fountain picked up for NRG, so they do have some power spikes on the board now. They want to go for another kind of fight. We need Juan Hernandez to hit 6, though. Before he does, he's just very vulnerable. There we go.
Yeah, he just popped 6. Yeah, so this is a really big power spike for Idris. You're able to throw out your chakrams. If you actually use your A and ultimate Shimmer Strike, you can actually move around your chakram returning to you, which keeps it in the air, doing multiple damage, multiple pass-throughs to targets. So we'll have to see if Juan can actually keep his cool in the team fight to be able to use his abilities at the right time, get those combos off. But Mango popping an infusion here. Looks like we're going in.
Well, I believe Ingenious actually hit Bradley there back into the team, did some good damage. So Bradley, yet again, struggling not to get knocked into a bad spot. Lightning T's nearby this time, though. So if ROX Armada commits to a fight under a turret, I think things are likely going to turn the way of NRG here.
They got to be careful, though.
That's a big on point.
Fountain is used, though, for energy, and ROX still have theirs, so they could choose to stick around if they wanted, but they're going to hold on to their cooldown, send Druid back to shop here. Once again, the infusion is still ticking for both Mango and Lightning T, so they're going to try to take advantage of this infusion timing with this gold mine.
Ingenious, he wants this gold mine steal. He's not going to get it, though. Yeah. And actually, NRG, they don't try and make something happen. I don't think they had vision of how far away ROX Armada was, otherwise probably go for a kill there.
They could have gone for a kill, but honestly, like Bradley tanked almost 50% of his health getting that gold mine, and they still don't have Fountain up, so pretty risky call if they went for Glaive, especially considering Glaive still has Afterburn and Boot active to get out. So if Energy's keeping up with those timings, a good call for them.
All right, NRG have to defend this turret. They're not going to get there in time. Druid taking a lot of damage already, but a good stun out of Ingenious. That buys a lot of time, and Mango with a yummy Cat Friende onto Juan Hernandez is going to turn things around. They actually want even more here. Look at the damage Mango's doing onto Bradley.
That ace.
1 or 2 more attacks would find it. Mango, he's gone too far, though. It's not going to be enough. Bradley gets out of there. 7 kills to do, though. ROX Armada finding a second turret off the back as well, potentially. Very good fight for them.
Mango actually missed one of his auto attacks. He canceled a little early. Lightning T going for Druid here, though, not shying down. He does have 2 charges of Rose Offensive available. He's not going to use it quite yet. So I like the fact that once we saw Tribe do this, too. Even though they got pushed back, they lost objectives, they're not backing down.
No, in fact, they're going quite aggressive right now, just whilst they know that Mango is out of the picture. But he's getting back now. He's finally arrived after returning to the Sanctuary. So maybe they'll go for another aggressive play here. Druid is quite strong also. Lightning T trying to find some harassment. Mango's quite tanky at the moment as well with the defense he's bought against what Lightning T's offering. Genius.
See the Afterburn come out. Just making sure, he's practicing. It's still there, still available to use. Afterburn not finding anyone, but is pretty low cooldown. And, of course, once he gets 1 more point in that ability, it's going to be even lower, offering a lot more zoning potential. I'm really impressed by his Afterburn punt focus. We saw in the last team fight, Lightning T, a slippery hero that can easily get around that, but he times it so perfectly after a Rose offensive, puts him up against the wall, takes him out. And when Lightning T is off the board, they lose a lot of their poke potential.
They really do. It's very tough for NRG, I think, to start a fight on the front foot, unless they have Lightning T poking beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not going with a build on Idris that takes advantage fully of Chakram poke. It's still more of a little bit like of an auto attack kind of dive build. Yes, Sourblade is the core item, but nothing else right now in the offensive tree. A triple on
nice
point
damage.
right there.
If you land a triple on point, I mean, you're doing a significant amount. So that does give NRG the confidence to move up a little bit. They're not going to find a second one just yet, though.
Not this time. ROX, really a tempered team, even to be as calculated, as aggressive as we say they are. They know when and when not to fight. This is one of the traits that we talk a lot about from Korean players, Korean teams, is just how disciplined and focused they remain throughout the entire match.
All right, Ingenious, he wants to go in. Juan Hernandez, the target, but that's a good reflex block, gets him out of there. Maybe they can turn around. Mango very low. Juan wants to jump back in. Fountain finally popped. Mango goes down first. Druid, he needs to keep on kiting. He needs to keep on doing the damage slowly but surely if he wants to make it happen. At this point, probably too late. He's on the wrong side of the map as well. Lightning T wants to chase him down. Good stun out of Ingenious. Druid, he finds 1 kill. He might be able to keep on kiting. He's thinking about recall. Cannot do it. Juan picks it up. And now Ingenious should be able to back away. Quite a good fight for NRG.
Druid made the best of a pretty bad situation there, to be completely honest. I actually think Ingenious missed an opportunity to punt Arden out of his gauntlet there. He was pretty close to it, but didn't quite get in range. But once again, Druid just recognizing the fact that I'll probably be able to pick up 1 kill here. I'm going to farm because I'm Druid, so I'm going to get lifesteal. I'm going to put more money in the bank. So after I get the kill, after I get my farm, I might die, but I'm at the shop. It's the quickest way to get back anyway, so just going to pick up another item here with the breaking points. And now Druid is going to be that kiting powerhouse we talked about with these breaking point stacks.
Breaking point is huge here, too, because Druid is not dying quickly in these fights. He's not the first one to go down. Mango is the one on the front lines. He's the one taking the brunt of damage when they jump in. NRG, they're in a good spot, to maybe start turning things around, but Druid is really spiking hard here.
A lot of it still has to do with how Mango keeps his aggression meaningful, impactful, but without dying right away. We see an afterburn attempt there, but doesn't find anything, so once again, ROX going to back off. They don't overextend when their abilities are on cooldown. I like that level of focus these guys are putting into this game here. Really a lot of respect for NRG, being a team, once again, new kind of from Challengers. These guys haven't had stage time, and ROX still treating them as if this was a top-level team like Cloud9, TSM, or whoever they might be going up against.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is something we've seen from ROX fairly consistently. They don't tend to underestimate anyone. They like to always play their game, and their game is good, right? Like, they just make sure they're not making any mistakes. And NRG, I do think they've had moments this game which looks indicative that they could make something happen. I think it's all about Lightning T for me. When he's able to start off a fight on the good foot, it goes well.
It definitely does, but like once again, just the pressure from this Kashka and Glaive early game, it's just so hard to get 2 scaling heroes off the ground. I mean, that's what Blackfeather is, that's what Idris is. These guys need time to ramp up to really get going, and because the draft kind of leans more towards the passive side for NRG, ROX just takes advantage of it. They just open up early game, they go for kills, they get the first blood gold, like they're continuing to expand this gold lead. So once again, just continuing to show impressive play from this Korean team.
All right, ROX Armada, I mean, they've got victory in sight as well in terms of the entire Mobile Masters Invitational Gauntlet. Yeah. They want to take down Cloud9 after this. They got to get through NRG to get there. It would be a huge statement to just be acquired by a massive org like ROX, show up to an event, kill 5 NA teams, right?
And then just go home feeling really good about yourself, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially in the lead up to Worlds, which will be happening after the autumn season. They're ready, already. Here comes the gauntlet that actually lands directly onto Druid. That's pretty much the ideal situation. Forces him to back away. He's going to have to be really careful here as the Sentry is doing damage as well. Lightning T trying to get on the back line. That's going to be the jump forward. Can they make this happen? Juan Hernandez still quite healthy. Druid, he's going to be the first to go down, but it is Ingenious keeping the fight rolling. Mango cleans up the kills, and Bradley is the last man standing for NRG. He is not the member you want to be your last man standing.
No,
I'll tell you that much.
He is not. He's not going to Mango. He's like, we've been here before. Bradley, come over
We know how this ends, Mango. It does not end well for you. All right.
Is not.
He's just going for the turret.
He's just pushing him off, doing a little extra damage there. But this is actually pretty thematic for today's matches. Is the other team seems to do a really good job at actually getting rid of one of the potential damage threats, but they're having a hard time doing it without just completely all dying themselves, right? So this just shows the prowess that ROX has in just trading a lot of the potential advantages they have. If Drew is the focus, Mango doesn't run away. He sits there, he gets as much damage off as he possibly can, and actually picks up like 2 kills on the back end. So
it can be so frustrating, right? It's like playing an old school game, and you get through the boss's first health bar, and it's like, oh no, I can't go any further than this. I'm just not good enough yet. And NRG, I mean, they need, I think, they do need to kill Druid first, but they need to do so in a way that Mango doesn't get like 3 rotations of Twirly Death off. Yeah, because he's getting so much off the passive like part of that ability.
He definitely is. We see double infusions coming out here for ROX Armada, one on Mango, one on Druid. So big power spikes coming through, also level 12 each. So big team fight potential coming out here as ROX actually goes for the high ground. This is really good positioning by them to be able to force NRG into a spot to have to make a choice. Do we go back to our base? Do we port home? What do we do here? Porting home seems to be the option.
Do you like Lightning T's build here, going for more defense rather than picking up, for example, cooldown acceleration?
I definitely think when you play Black Feather, especially Crystal Power, you have to make a hard decision. Do you go super offensive or not? I think because they're diving, he has to pick up defense because he can't just poke and not go in, or else Idris just goes down.
It's a very good point. Genius burning Afterburn already actually could be quite good for NRG if they decide to make a play within the next 8 seconds. But
small window.
Honestly, ROX did back up pretty fast there. They wanted to play it safe. They didn't want to overextend into NRG. I like that. Again, they know what they can and can't do, and they can't properly fight without the crowd control there because it's just going to enable Lightning T and Juan Hernandez to dive onto the back line and instantly get something.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to be careful. Even though you have a very significant 7,000 gold lead, you cannot just lackadaisically go into the bush, start a fight, let Kraken hit you at the same time. So a lot of times what teams will do when they have this type of lead and NRG and other teams are playing on the back foot is they'll start Kraken. They'll see if they can pull them out into a team fight, see if they're going to take the bait. But so once again, ROX just controlling these lane waves, continually sending them into the enemy base.
All right, well, ROX is pretty committed to a fight right now. If you look at where they're standing, there's not an easy way out of this one. Lightning T does find that one on point, but it does not do much damage to Mango.
Here we go.
Genius tries to set something up. Gauntlet does quite a lot of work at zoning out Druid just for a little while there, and Mango, the main target for NRG. Can they kill him? Juan gonna be the first to fall. Druid's still full health. This needs to be a bail situation for Lightning T. He needs to get back to the Sanctuary for sure. Bradley should be able to get out as well. I mean, I like the idea of fighting there. But again, I mean, it's got to be Druid you're going on to, right? They tried to focus Mango. It did not work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Mango does best. He's known for calculated aggression. He goes in, he gets in your face, he chunks you out, and he makes you want to kill him. Because you're like, stop it, Mango. This is annoying. You're hurting me, man. Like, I'm trying to get to Druid. And then the entire time you're thinking about this, Druid's just stacking up on the backline with that breaking point. So they have to be careful, though. Druid doesn't really have much energy. Not a lot of ultimates online for either team, but they're all starting to take
really
down.
far away, though. This could be a very bold fight if Lightning T decides to take it.
I don't think ROX knows this, though, at least not yet. They just saw, they walked through lane, so they do know now, but they still pull off.
Interesting. So ROX Armada, I mean, they committed to that for longer than I think you would normally want to if that's the play. If your play is to back off and try and bait people in. And as a result, Genius took a lot of damage, had to actually recall. Let's NRG maybe get some vision here. That's the key thing about that play. Like, if NRG can find good vision and then not die in the next fight where ROX push super far up, they can leverage that vision whilst ROX retreats to catch someone up.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mango. He's trying to go in here. Juan Hernandez on the front line again. He's got to be very careful. Trying to play it slow. Doesn't want to use his ultimate just yet. You see Lightning T getting in a number of on-point rotations before the fight really begins, and a Chakram actually lands on the Druid as well there. This is probably the opportunity if Bradley can find a good gauntlet, but it's going to be tough to do. You know that, you know, Ingenious, for example, likely going to try and jump out of there, maybe even interrupt your gauntlet attempt if you go for it. That's the gauntlet. Here it comes. All right, it stuns Druid. That's big. That buys a lot of time for the back line of NRG to get onto Mango. But there's the fountain pop, and now NRG are on the retreat. Silence comes out after the Yummy Cat and Frenzy. It's not going to be enough, though. Great kill picked up by NRG. They want more Druid. He's doing some good kiting, though. He does not have energy to keep on Sonic zooming. I'm actually a little surprised Lightning T isn't going for this one. Druid seems like he could go down here, but Lightning T does not land the on point. That shuts that plan down, at least for now. Lightning T
good damage.
Thinking about going back in. You've got to go for Druid.
Dodge the on point.
You've got to go for Druid. It's not going to land yet again. Vanguard forced out there. Jump in by Lightning T. He's stunned up, though. The on point shield. Oh, the reflex block as well. He's just able to get out. That was the most in and out fight I've seen in a long time. Lightning T, he just needed to land one on point. One on point onto Druid.
Just one on point. I mean, thankfully, Bradley was there with the Atlas, so he does stop the attacks coming out of Druid, or that would have been an absolute disaster for NRG. But these guys playing toe-to-toe with ROX here, not afraid to put it all on the line. But we did see some pretty critical on points not land throughout the fight, including the beginning when he was fighting Koshka up in the top of the lane. Could have easily taken Mango out quickly. Would have been a 3v2 turnaround there. But the separation, like, massive props to NRG. The Gauntlet put Druid in the jungle. Mango's in the top of the lane. He was Atlas completely separated. I mean, if you don't win that team fight as NRG, I don't actually know if you win anything. This was almost a perfect setup for them.
I've got to agree. NRG, that was a tough spot to be in, but at least they didn't lose any more members than just Juan Hernandez. Speaking of Juan Hernandez, in these fights, I think it's critical, right, that he doesn't go down quickly. His build is actually starting to get to the point where maybe that happens, but here comes the engagement. Ingenious does find a nice knockback on the Lightning T, but Juan Hernandez uses that opportunity. He wants to go in, maybe find some damage. Mango jumps into a gauntlet wall. That's not ideal.
I think Mango was looking for that timing. Yeah, he
thankfully
missed it
it was Pouncing Fun, not Yummy Cat and Friends. Didn't burn that cooldown. Druid still doing some good damage here. Does not have breaking point stacks or anything like that, so it does mean that he can go in and out of fights a little bit more liberally. NRG, they're quite healthy right now. Ingenious does have Fountain available, though. NRG's got to be careful not to get baited in. That's the Fountain. Bradley very low. Lightning T low on energy as well. It's going to be hard for him to turn this one around. He needs to go for that on point. Reflex Block stops Mango, but he still goes down to the damage.
They
Bradley
get Lightning T on the
punted out as well. And yes, Lightning T and Juan go out. Ace for ROX Armada. They might be able to push all the way here. I mean, 40-plus second death timers on the side of NRG. I think ROX have done it. They are 4 wins up in the gauntlet. One more win to take down every opponent that tried their hand at beating the world champions.
ROX Armada, you guys look great here at the Mobile Masters Tournament. Like, what impressive gameplay, back-to-back, best of ones, not losing a single game thus far, and doing it with such style, such flair, as they just continue to just flex their picks around. They just play pretty much whatever they want. Comfort picks, like, what do you even ban? How do you prep against these guys? Cloud9, they've had the most time, they've had the most opportunity.
Seen a lot today.
They've seen a lot.
Yeah.
They're the only ones left.
The Baron ban, let's think about it this way. Was the Baron ban, did it end up being good? How good was Druid's Fox compared to the Baron? I think that Baron is slightly better, right? So I kind of like the fact that, you know, they went for that. They tried something, which I think was very smart based on the games earlier. And if Cloud9 ban a Baron next game, I'd still feel good about that, right? Like, and that's important to realize, because we definitely needed at least one game without the Baron to see what else was on the table.
Just to see what was going on. I mean, I agree. I think the damage from Baron is so hard to mitigate when you're at deficit. Versus Vox, yes, Druid can still style while he's out there. He can still do a ton of damage, but the amount of damage Baron's capable of doing, so much more difficult to shut him down. Once again, just Druid with such substantial CS and farm numbers, always getting all of his items by the end of the game.
I love Ingenious going for the clockwork, too. That's my style.
Oh, Echo, actually.
Echo, sorry. Echo is what I meant to say. Yes, so Echo on Ingenious, getting multiple afterburns down. I mean, that's really big when you have 2 very dive-heavy characters on the enemy team and your Glaive. Getting able to afterburn twice and keep up with your Vox, too. Like, that's a big part of it, because Vox is going to keep on jumping backwards.
Yeah.
It was smart. Ingenious is ingenious.
I think NRG actually stood such a good chance at taking that game if they would have just committed. Like, they had a lot of poke, Chakram on points coming through, but it was just so hard for them to actually find the kills once they went in. Lightning T there, really good eyes on that play. Not able to get 2 kills, so not completely worth it. But generally, when you're a jungler, if you can trade your life for a carry, it's typically net positive for your team just due to the missing farm. But man, like ROX is coming through, getting the stuns down, not being afraid to use Yummy Catnip Frenzy on just pretty much anyone who's closest to you.
I like that Mango did go for this, but it was a little bold.
1 auto attack away from securing an ace for his team. I got to give him credit on that. I think, like I said, if he wouldn't have accidentally canceled that 1 empowered auto, he might have been able to have taken Arden down before he regened up. But just once again, just look at this. 2 different team fights essentially almost happening. Mango takes out Lightning T. Once again, like you said earlier, Jackson, just Druid and Ingenious is playing constantly together. Yeah,
they pair up very nicely, and they're able to hunt people down, make the plays happen that they want to. I'm very impressed by ROX Armada, as I expected, but NRG I'm also impressed by in this game. Like, they are a team that was recently acquired and has been down in the Challenger Series for a long time, they're starting to make some big strides, I think. So quite happy to see that. We're actually got an interview on stage with Juan Hernandez with Maria.
This was the team's debut as part of NRG. Do you guys feel like you represented well here today?
I think we did, considering we went against the top team in the world. So yeah.
Do you feel like the last remaining North American team, Cloud9, has a shot against ROX Armada?
Of course. They're the best team in NA.
All right, well, thank you guys for being here today.
All right, thank you very much, Maria and Juan Hernandez. Honestly, as I said, quite a strong performance from NRG. Considering we just didn't know what to expect from them, I'm looking forward to seeing them play in the upcoming season. But we've got one more game here at the Vainglory Gauntlet. It's going to be a